Okay, so hello everybody. I want to open this talk with a question. Would you see yourself at a job interview saying something to your possibly future boss like, nah, I ain't gonna do that, using the word ain't? Would you use that word ain't in a job interview?
No.
It seems odd, right? Another context. You're going to a friend's party, and then you just want to have a chit chat with someone that you just met. And then the other person kind of starts talking in a very Shakespearean way, and starts talking like, know thyself, or thou shalt not do that. Would it be natural? Would it seem normal? So there we have two cases. The first, you wouldn't use ain't at a job interview because it's kind of strange, right? And you wouldn't talk in a Shakespearean way in a party because that would seem very, very odd. So there we have kind of discrepancies regarding context, right? In and of itself, we all know what ain't means, right? I ain't gonna do that, ain't nobody got time for that, etc. And we can maybe get to know expressions like thyself, or thou, or thee, that are very, very ancient. And these words are not incorrect per se, they're just in the wrong context. So, have you ever encountered someone saying this? What you're saying is incorrect, or that word that you're using does not exist. I mean, ain't, maybe it's not in the most qualified dictionaries, but we know that it exists, we know that people use it. And saying is correct if I talk to someone as thyself, thee, thou. It's not per se incorrect, but it's very, very odd, it's very, very unnatural. So, this talk, we're going to see about questioning language prestige in the sense of this phrase, what you're saying is incorrect, or that word doesn't exist. We're going to see that it's not that easy, and it's not that straightforward. So first, I want to ask you, our language is like bricks. Our language is steady and static things that never evolve. So for example, if we talk about the Spanish language, we could talk about Spanish in Andalusia, for example, which is kind of different to the Spanish of Madrid. We can also talk about Spanish in Chihuahua, which is very influenced by US English. But we can also talk about Spanish in Bogota, and we all know that these varieties of Spanish are not the same. So, the languages are not like bricks. We cannot understand a language as this brick is English, this brick, that's French, this brick is Russian, this brick is Japanese, because languages are more like liquids. They're not steady, they're not hard, they're not like a rock, they're in constant evolution. So with that in mind, what if we change the narrative of correct and incorrect to a narrative of standardized and non-standardized? For example, the word ain't. The word ain't may not be in the most prestigious dictionary, but we can use it. So we have like examples of non-standard or standard English. I'm well, that's standard. Or I'm doing pretty good. We can comprehend both of them, but maybe you're not going to say I'm doing pretty good at a job interview, once again. So it's not like it's incorrect, it's just maybe non-standardized. For example, in Mexico we can say way, and way wasn't standard a couple years ago, but it doesn't mean that way didn't exist, because we can all use way, we can all understand what way means. So it's the same. What if we change the narrative of correct or incorrect to standardized and non-standardized? So, language is all about describing. Language is about our thought. As a famous quote, the limits of language are the limits of my mind. So, with that in mind, describing or denying reality. For example, in Russian, you have many, many words for describing cold. You have like chilly cold, or like freezing cold, or like mortal cold. You have many, many types of different words to describe cold, because Russia is the coldest country on earth. But for example, in Galician, region of Spain, in the Galician language, you have many words for describing the rain, because, well, more than half of the days in Galicia are rainy days. So you can always have different words for like very heavy rain, or just like tiny rain. You have a lot of words for rain. As in Russian, we have a lot of words for the cold. So Languages are used for describing our reality, right? However, if we focus solely on the standardized version of the language, you're going to begin to deny reality. Why? Because, for example, if someone, in regards to non-binary inclusive language, maybe someone identifies as a non-binary person, and maybe the more conservative people that try to preserve the language as intact would say that words such as ella in Spanish or yel in French do not exist. But are they really saying that word doesn't exist? Or are they just denying the reality? Are they just denying a reality that they don't want to accept? So in Russian we have words for different types of cold weather, and nobody argues that. In Galician you have different words for the rain, and nobody argues that. But regarding to social matters, you can always have people denying realities. You can always have people, for example, in Querétaro, when someone says CD, like treating that as incorrect or treating that as less valuable. So what we want to focus on is describing the description of the language, not denying another person's reality. So with that in mind, our word exists from the moment that it is used and from the moment that it serves a purpose in communication. So maybe for you it's very odd for me to say CD, or as they say in Spanish, ya comiste, di, have you already eaten? But here in Querétaro or in Celaya, you can understand it that di serves as a confirmation. And maybe it's not in the dictionary, but it serves a function in communication. Di is like saying digit, like confirming. So it serves a purpose. So di maybe not to be regarded as a prestigious word, but it exists and it serves a function.